So it's getting ready to leave my house, and I was having these thoughts in my head, and these are thoughts I don't share. And so I thought, this is maybe something I should be sharing. As a domestic abuse survivor and child, survivor, when you spend most of your life living a certain way and having to deal with a lot of things, things will come up. They will be triggering. What I realized this morning was a few things, and then this afternoon it really started to set in, is how I really struggled with calling the cops. I really struggled with following through on a VPO, even when, I was living with someone, or they were living with, I was in a relationship for 15 years, and it was extremely violent, headbutts, kicks, punch, wrapped in a blanket. It was really bad. And this went on for 15 years, but I grew up in this environment too. So I really didn't know that there was a different kind of love that you could have in life. I kind of thought this was it, and I deserved what I was getting. Even when my parents knew about it, my mom was like, well, this is God's punishment to you because you did this, this, and this. It never seemed I couldn't escape this shame that I was living in. And, it took me a really long time to even file a VPO and follow through with it when I was getting beat on the regular. Never hurt my children, but he definitely was definitely hurting me. And my kids witnessed that. I struggled so much with doing a VPO. And even after I filed my first one, I wanted to go in and say I wanted to unfile it, and finally on the last one, it was so bad. The abuse had gotten so bad. And just looking back at some old pictures when I was coming across them where my face was just so swollen, it was just awful. It took so much reassurance that I was doing the right thing. And that's what I think is the crazy thing is you are doing the right thing to say, hey, there's a boundary that people should not cross. I would never, never, never allow those things to happen to me now. There's absolutely no way. And so in the shower today, I was thinking to myself about some other situations that were happening around me in my life. And I was expand, take up space, feel the space, don't shrink. I was taking in the energy of reassurance from my ancestors and gifts and trusting my intuition that not to be small. And I think we're in this weird climate now where a lot of this may be happening to a lot of people. So maybe I'll be sharing more of this information as I move forward. That abuse ended so long ago, but the kind of abuse that I went through even after that, it stays with you. There's a wiring that happens in your mind that makes you believe that these things are just and that you deserve these things. But I will tell you, there is no reason why anyone should ever put their hands on you. There's no reason why anyone should ever physically hurt you intentionally, or say things with so much malice or the verbal abuse. But I feel when you're in it so much that you're in this quicksand, and then the support group that you have supports it in some weird way. You see some people, it's like a crabs in a bucket. When one crab's trying to get out, the other ones are pulling them in. And that's kind of what happens when you are living in a abusive situation, whether you're a child, teen, 20, 30, 40, and I'm in my 50s. And so I'm not going through that now, but here I am at 54, and it feels really strong inside of me, and I'm releasing it and moving through it. I'm 54, the kind of abuse that I was going through was happening that I can recall back to the age of 3, and that's because of photographs. So I'm thinking and then the physical abuse just never seemed to stop. Nothing was ever safe. There was no safe space for it. And I have been in a safe space for a while now, but my body still remembers. And I feel like it's because, you know, things needed to be righted within me. So I hope that you found this really helpful. And yeah, I love y'all and don't ever want to see anyone getting hurt. So if you're getting hurt, this message came across you at the right time. And yeah, so much love.